There's a character in Game of Thrones who is remembered as a villain, a tyrant, a man so consumed by power that he'd sacrifice anything to maintain control. And I fully agree with this perception. He orchestrated the Red Wedding. He employed the Mountain, who committed atrocities. He was, by any moral standard, a terrible person. But here's what nobody talks about. He was also the best ruler the Seven Kingdoms ever had. Not the most honorable, not the most beloved, but the best at the actual job of ruling. His name is Tywin Lannister, and his story reveals something uncomfortable about power. Sometimes the worst people make the best rulers. When Tywin took control of the Westerlands, he understood something that most rulers never grasp. Mercy is cruelty, and cruelty is mercy. His approach to ruling was ruthless and pragmatic. If you allow your enemies to challenge you, if you show weakness, you invite more challenges, more wars, more suffering. But if you respond with overwhelming force, if you make it clear that the cost of challenging you is total destruction, you create peace through fear.
If another house can seize one of our own and hold him captive with impunity, we are no longer a house to be feared.
This is the psychological mechanism that drives everything Tywin does. He's not cruel for cruelty's sake. He's cruel because he believes, and the evidence supports him, that cruelty is more merciful than weakness. A quick, decisive victory saves more lives than a prolonged war. A clear demonstration of power prevents future conflicts. This is the philosophy that shapes every decision he makes. But let's be clear about one thing. I'm not saying he has the good of the common folk of Westeros at heart. He doesn't. He's not a humanitarian. He's a pragmatist. This approach is very effective at maintaining power, and maintaining power is what matters to Tywin. The fact that it also happens to create stability is secondary. The primary motivation is control. The primary motivation is ensuring that no one challenges Lannister authority. Everything else flows from that. If this kind of character analysis interests you, if you want to understand characters who challenge our moral categories, subscribe. I am building a community of people who refuse simple narratives. Help me reach 1,000 subscribers by March, and let's explore these contradictions together. Now let's look at how Tywin actually ruled. Not what people said about him, what he actually did. The Red Wedding is the moment everyone points to as proof of Tywin's cruelty. And yes, it was brutal, but let's examine what actually happened and why. Robb Stark was winning the War of the Five Kings. He was undefeated in battle. He had a loyal army. He had the support of the North. He was a genuine threat to Lannister power and, more importantly, to the stability of the realm. The war had been dragging on for years. Thousands of people were dying. The economy was collapsing. The realm was tearing itself apart. Tywin faced a choice: continue a war that was destroying the Seven Kingdoms, or end it decisively. He chose to end it. The Red Wedding was a violation of sacred guest right, yes. It was dishonorable, yes. But it accomplished something that years of conventional warfare could not. It ended the war. It restored peace to the realm. It stopped the bleeding. Think about what this means. Thousands of people died in the War of the Five Kings. Thousands more would have died if the war had continued. Tywin's ruthlessness ended the suffering faster than honor ever could have. And here's the thing that makes this so revealing. Ned Stark tried to play the honorable man. He discovered that Joffrey, Myrcella, and Tommen were not Robert's children. Instead of arresting Cersei immediately, instead of consolidating power, he warned her. He gave her time to escape. He tried to do the right thing. And that single decision, that refusal to do what was necessary, led to his execution, his family's destruction, and the War of the Five Kings. Ned's honor killed hundreds of thousands of people. Tywin's ruthlessness saved them. This is the core of the argument. Not that Tywin was good, but that his ruthlessness was more merciful than Ned's honor. Now let's look at how Tywin handled power once he had it. When he became Hand of the King, the realm was in chaos. It was at war. The economy was collapsing. Tywin came in and immediately took control. Nowhere is this clearer than in the scene where Tywin confronts Joffrey.
Any man who must say, "I am the king," is no true king.
Joffrey wants to punish Tyrion for disrespecting him. Joffrey is the king. He has the authority. But Tywin is unimpressed. He doesn't yell. He doesn't threaten. And Joffrey, who has been throwing tantrums throughout the series, who has been executing people on whims, who has been acting like a petulant child, immediately backs down. That's not because Tywin is louder or more aggressive. It's because Tywin has established an order and everyone understands their place in it. That's the mark of a great ruler. Not someone who is loved, but someone who is respected. Someone who has established such clear authority that people follow without question. He doesn't rule through emotion. He doesn't rule through fear alone. He rules through structure, through order, through clear lines of authority. He makes decisions quickly. He never allows his personal feelings to interfere with his duty to the realm. When he's hand, the realm stabilizes. The economy improves. The war ends. The realm is protected. These aren't accidents. These are the results of pragmatic leadership. He understands something that most rulers never grasp, that the job of ruling isn't about being liked. It's about maintaining order. It's about making the hard decisions that other people are too weak to make. Now let's compare him to the alternatives. Robert Baratheon was a great warrior but a terrible king. He was indulgent and absent. He neglected the realm, spent wildly, and allowed corruption to flourish. He had no vision for the future. He had no plan. He just wanted to drink and hunt and forget about his responsibilities. His weakness created a power vacuum that led directly to the War of the Five Kings. Tywin, by contrast, was a strong and decisive leader. He was always in control. He always had a plan. He never allowed his personal feelings to interfere with his duty to the realm. Robert drank and whored while the realm fell apart. Tywin worked tirelessly to hold it together. The difference in results is stark. One man's weakness led to chaos, the other man's strength led to order. Then there's the Mad King Aerys. Aerys was a tyrant who ruled through paranoia and fear. He burned nobles alive. He killed innocent people on a whim. He plunged the realm into chaos and terror. His reign was a disaster that led directly to Robert's rebellion. Aerys had no plan. He had no vision for the realm beyond his own paranoia. He was chaos incarnate. He destroyed people because he was afraid of them. He destroyed because it made him feel powerful. Tywin, by contrast, brought order out of that chaos. He was ruthless, yes, but his ruthlessness served a purpose: to restore stability to a realm on the brink of collapse. Aerys destroyed for the sake of destruction. Tywin destroyed for the sake of order. That's a fundamental difference. One is a tyrant. The other is a pragmatist. Daenerys Targaryen, on the other hand, was an idealist who believed she could break the wheel and create a better world. She had dragons. She had an army. She had the support of millions who believed in her vision. She had everything a ruler could want. But her idealism was not tempered by pragmatism. She conquered territories but couldn't rule them. She freed slaves but didn't know how to govern them. She made decisions based on emotion, on her sense of justice, without considering the practical consequences. When she conquered King's Landing, she let her desire for revenge on Cersei control her mind. And when she felt betrayed, when she realized that the people didn't love her the way she expected, she burned the city to the ground and killed thousands of innocent people. That's not ruling, that's chaos. That's a tyrant destroying a city because her feelings were hurt. Tywin would never have made that mistake. He understood that while fear is an important factor in maintaining power, you can't rule through fear alone. You need order, structure, and a clear vision for the future. This is what separates Tywin from every other ruler we've seen. He understood that the job of a ruler is not to be a good person. It's to maintain order, to keep people safe, to ensure that the realm doesn't descend into chaos. He was willing to do the hard things, the cruel things, the things that other rulers were too weak or too honorable to do. And the result was a realm that was, for a time, at peace. A realm that was prosperous, a realm that was strong. So was Tywin Lannister a good person? No, absolutely not. Was he a good ruler? Yes, better than anyone else we've seen. And that distinction between being a good person and being a good ruler is the most important thing to understand about power. Because in the end, people don't remember whether their ruler was kind. They remember whether they were safe, whether they were prosperous, whether their children had a future. Tywin gave his people all of those things. That makes him the best ruler, even if it makes him a terrible person. And that's what makes him such a fascinating character to analyze. He forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. Sometimes the best leaders are the worst people, and sometimes that's exactly what a realm needs. Let me know what you think in the comments below.